Hey, what's going on, guys? Tarkov just dropped their new patch today, 1.0.2.5. In this video, I want to go over the patch with you guys, give my thoughts and opinions, and what I experienced today on streets. I ran about 10 raids on my stream. And then finally, I want to give you guys the secret weapon of this patch. This gun was A tier before, if not S tier, and basically was untouched in this patch. And I believe that this gun is now definitely S tier, if not S plus. So stick around for that. Let's just get right into the patch. This patch's main aim was load times, balancing, and bug fixes, some of them game breaking. So first off, they adjusted the game server launch mechanics to speed up the process of creation of rooms for matches and getting players into the raid. They adjusted the raid completion mechanics and the display of post-raid statistics to speed up the process of leaving the raid after its completion. Optimized the launch speed of the game client and menu loading. Added a permanent display of the Zuber boat departure timer to the final part of the terminal, and updated the DLSS to version 4.5 and added support for new presets. So today, I will say in classic BSG fashion, we took 2 steps forward and took a step back. Yesterday we were getting, 2-3 minute queue times, and today on streets my average was about 8 or 9 minutes. I had one raid that was 1.5 minutes, but that was by far an anomaly. Balancing changes, this is something you will definitely notice on your weapons, especially if you already have them built. They adjusted the stats of most weapon attachments, i.e. muzzle devices, magazines, grips, and buttstocks. The goal was to bridge the gap between the most popular high-tier attachments and those that are currently rarely used. So starting with muzzle devices, flash hiders, muzzle brakes, and similar attachments now reduce recoil more effectively. Suppressors, including their combos with various muzzle brakes, now have a smaller impact on recoil. In exchange, their ergonomics penalty has been reduced. These changes are aimed at addressing the current prevalence of suppressors, which are used almost universally. We want players to make a choice when building weapons: better recoil control with a muzzle brake versus relative stealth with a suppressor. Magazines, very similar adjustment here. They adjusted the bonuses and penalties of all existing magazines into a more consistent system. The impact of high-capacity magazines on weapon ergonomics has been reduced. Load, unload, and check speed modifiers have also been significantly adjusted. Magazines that are the only available option for compatible weapons, such as machine gun boxes, now have significantly softer penalties to ergonomics and other stats. Grips and buttstocks narrowed the stat gap between different pistol grips, front grips, and buttstocks. Late game attachments still slightly outperform their budget counterparts, but the difference is much smaller than it was before. We believe that this will allow players to make builds based on visual preference, among other things, eliminating the established flow of good and bad attachments. So this is definitely something that you're going to have to play around with and find your new builds. I was trying out some ergo builds and some stuff today. Definitely a big hit to ergonomics. You'll have to have fun playing around with that. I won't go over every single change here. There's just far too many attachments to do in this video. So have fun with that. Check around. You will notice a big difference in ergo. Okay, and bug fixes. Please note that some of these fixes may contain spoilers for story tasks, okay? Spoiler alert. First of all, they fixed an issue that caused the interface to duplicate when looting rigs, containers, or the inventories of killed players or bots in certain cases. I did have this one happen to me, actually. It was on the right-hand side every time I looted, even raid to raid. Like, it carried over raid to raid. So that's a good fix there. Fix the progress of priest kills getting reset after the raid in the story chapter. They are already here. Fixed an issue where Mr. Kerman would not make contact after an unsuccessful search for the RFID card encryption device in the lab. Fixed an issue that caused the dialogue with Lightkeeper to freeze, preventing players from receiving the armored case in one of the story tasks. Fixed an issue that caused the dialogue with Lightkeeper to freeze, preventing players from obtaining the RFID card in certain cases. Fixed the cause of players receiving a flea market ban due to error 214 when the verification window failed to appear. Fixed the cause of error 228 occurring when quickly purchasing multiple items on the flea market. Fix the incorrect sound occlusion behavior in certain areas of the D2 bunker on reserve. I played a bunch of reserve yesterday, actually. I didn't really notice that. Improve the network synchronization of grenade throws and BTR movement. That's a good one. Fix the incorrect damage calculation that resulted in no penalties being applied for a blacked out limb. Fix the incorrect experience display on the post-raid statistics screen after completing a raid with the run-through status in certain cases. Fixed an issue where some players would spawn into the raid without a weapon in their hands in certain cases. Fixed a persistent muzzle flash after firing the GP25 underbarrel grenade launcher in certain cases. Fixed an issue that caused players to slide on inclined surfaces after jumping in certain cases. This is a big one, actually. Skating on rocks is a really big one, especially when you're playing Lighthouse. Fix the brief sprint animation triggering when strafing or turning the camera in the direction of movement in certain cases. Fix the cause of long transition times when switching to the character screen and the tasks tab in certain cases. Fixed an issue where audio tapes produced in the hideout would not appear in the handbook without restarting the game. Fixed an issue where gear presets suggested purchasing weapon parts even though the required weapon build was already in the stash. Fixed the display issues with certain reward types and unlock conditions on the task screen. Fixed the display of night vision device mounts and adapters. Fixed the incorrect ambient sound behavior in certain indoor areas on terminal. Fixed the incorrect Steam-rich presence status switching in certain cases. Fixed the incorrect scroll bar appearance in certain drop-down lists in the interface. Fixed the search field not being automatically focused when opening the search in stash window. Fixed the display of the mouse sensitivity setting on the settings screen. And finally, fixed the incorrect bot behavior after fully depleting ammunition in stationary weapons in certain cases. So I don't know if these have affected you guys. I definitely have had a few that have affected me. If any of these fixes have not been fixed and you still are experiencing them, definitely drop a comment and let me know, and I will try to move that forward. So moving on, thoughts and opinions. My experience today on streets was pretty typical, I would say. Like I said earlier, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I was plagued with disconnect issues and server issues, ton of ping spikes and packet loss, to a frustrating amount actually today. Possibly my internet, but it felt like server stuff to me. Raid queue times, they hit about 8 minutes, like I said earlier, averaging about 8 minutes. I had 1 queue that was a minute and a half. I did exclusively play streets today, so I don't know if this is connected to all maps. Maybe it's just a streets problem. The map did seem to run better after I restarted my computer. I noticed with the 1 to 6x, the Valde scope, that I was kind of having some frame drop and stuff with that. That scope specifically, they dropped the ergonomics is a -5, so it's one of the worst sites for ergonomics right now. You actually get better ergonomics on like a Voodoo or the Razer HD with the ring mount, so that's interesting. And then I was using the Razer HD to test it out, and it seemed really good. So I think there might be something funky going on with the Valde, and maybe it's something to do with just the ergonomic adjustments. Okay, guys, I just wanted to put into perspective what this change means. So I'm going to put this side by side with this armor. So here we have an SR25 marksman rifle, a typical build that I had from before, MOE stock, right? Suppressor, SE5, and the Growl grip. Okay, this Growl grip got hit pretty hard. It's now a 4.8 ergo. I believe it was a 12 before. So that means that's a 7 ergonomics loss on this attachment. Now, 7 ergo here would have had us at a 35 before. So if you do the math, that's actually a 22% hit on ergonomics on this weapon. Now, to put that into perspective, here's a full-on redo done up with all plates, and it's only -5 ergonomics. So the feel of how much ergo you're losing is about quadruple of putting on a redo armor. So this is actually a pretty significant hit to your weapon. Now, I will also say that the ring mount, only 1 ergonomic loss still, and the weapon itself, or not the weapon, and the sight itself actually is a -4. So overall, that's a -5. I will bring up the Voodoo here. The Voodoo's a -3, so this is a better ergonomic sight. The Tango is also a -4. Valde is a -5. So this guy's a pretty big hit. And the last one I like to add into this category is the Schmidt & Bender 1-8X, also a -3 ergo. So guys, last but not least, I wanted to talk about the secret weapon of this patch. And honestly, it was a secret weapon of last patch. No one's been touching this gun. It is the Ash 12. Okay, this gun is going to be the new meta. It was basically untouched in this patch. It was not really nerfed at all. It got a slight hit on the foregrips, but really insignificant in the overall standing of how this weapon feels and works. I do recommend the compensator on this thing. It gives you -20% recoil and only -1 ergonomics. The suppressor is far worse. I will just bring it up here quick for you guys. Okay, -15 ergo. So, and worse recoil. So guys, I recommend the muzzle brake on the Ash 12. You can buy the ammo from Prapper. It pierces level 5 at medium rate and does 102 damage. Okay, this gun knocks dudes the fuck over. It's awesome. I typically use the Spectre 1-4, but use what you like. It's only -4 ergo, which is pretty damn good. So overall, this gun, this simple build, you don't have to buy a whole lot, ends up at 57 ergo with 101 recoil. This is really similar to a short barrel mutant build with the blast regulator and kind of all the meta attachments. So this guy is really budget friendly, has really good accessible ammo, and was virtually untouched in the patch. I do believe that this was an A or S tier weapon last patch, and with the way that the nerfs kind of happened, I think this guy is where it is at, you guys. So give the Ash 12 a try. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. This guy is the secret weapon of this patch. And with that, guys, that's the patch. If you have any questions, leave a comment for me. I'll reply to fucking all of them. I'm on it for you guys. If you want me to test anything out, let me know. I'll run it tomorrow. I'm alive. I'm live every day at 11 Eastern. I'll catch you later. Peace.